I'm Cindy Gray. I live in East Hampton. I've been there 61 years, except for a few years off to college, so I've been here quite a while.
My name is Heather O'Connor. We are in East Hampton, and I work for the post office as a city carrier.
My name is Larry McHugh. I live in the Springs. I've been living there for 31 years. We were sort of winging it for two reasons, because nobody really been through this before. And when the post office wanted to get like masks or hand sanitizer and stuff like that, they couldn't get it. Everybody was, they were going to a place on the North Fork that was making tequila to get alcoholic hand sanitizers.
Tequila?
Yeah.
Were you sanitizing your hands with tequila?
No, but what was the base? The base for the tequila?
First of all, we're trying to figure out what's going on here. When's it going to end? How long is the duration of this pandemic going to be? How is it going to impact my job? I'm looking at, suddenly all these people are coming into the job, and customers of ours and new customers of ours who I've never seen, and it appears as if it's summer again. It's changed an awful lot. We've rented a lot of boxes, a lot of new people here, and they stayed quite a while, and now we're realizing they are going to stay quite a while because of the second homes out here. It's all good. You just have to step it up a little bit more and do what you got to do to get through the job. But it's been, it's hard, but we've made it through, so far.
The thing was, we were here pretty much every minute of the day, and so we would come here and just go home. But like, we had masks and everything, so at first same thing, I kind of thought it was just going to blow over, but then once you start reading the news and how many, the numbers were rising, then it started getting then I started getting more concerned for my family as well. I couldn't see them for a while because, we worked here, so we didn't know if it was coming through the mail, and, you didn't know. You could be talking to someone who didn't have symptoms but found out they had it anyway.
It was tense and a totally new thing for us as employees and for management. And we were just trying to come up with safety regulations that would help us, but also move the mail. Like when we punched in the morning, we couldn't stand together. We'd have to be 6 feet apart. When we loaded our truck, we'd have it, if we were out in the back platform, we had to stay 6 feet apart. In the morning when we come to work, we have to case our mail into cases. They moved the cases a little to make sure the cases were 6 feet apart, okay?
We all get a 10-minute break as well, and we would take it in the break room, but we had to stop doing that, so we would take them in our trucks or go into our cars just to take a 10-minute break, yeah.
And some people, they came in contact, with people who had COVID, and they go out for 14 days. They give them 14 days leave because they didn't want, people to get infected. So it affected the workforce because we were not only overwhelmed with parcels, we didn't have enough people to deliver them because they had come back with COVID.
So we weren't just limited to the 5-day-a-week job. We were coming in on my day off, which is normally Saturday, and we would rotate. We would rotate on Sundays because every other week we would come in on Sundays because that's the only way we could somewhat keep up with the job. It was overwhelming. It really was. It really was. Like I've never seen before. I've been here many years, and I can't even count when I last worked Sundays,
It was tough at first, because it started when the season started to change, so the weather started, the hotness, but kind of got used to it, really.
Yeah. Well, I wear glasses to read, and I deliver mail in the town, so I'm in and out of buildings, and the glasses would always forced up because I'm wearing the mask. So that was something I had to overcome, But
I had to switch to contacts.
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
good. Basically, we had the gloves, and we would change the gloves several times a day.
Yeah.
They had cartons of gloves, and you go out there, come back, put a fresh pair of gloves on, and things like that.
Like we would load up our trucks with the packages, and then go, like you said, go inside, put new gloves on, go back and do whatever else we had to do, and we were changing gloves 3 or 4 times in the morning.
Yeah.
We dealt with it during the summer as well, so they would just get so sweaty, and we would take 2 or 3 extra pairs with us just so we could change, and then end up washing our hands so many times as well.
And the customers would, not all of them, but a lot of them, we'd put the boxes on the porch, and they leave them on the porch for several days because they didn't want to, risk getting anything from that. So we would build like a wall of boxes for some of these customers.
There was a guy that's a year older than me, and I hadn't seen him for a while. His wife finally came in, and I said, I haven't seen your husband for a while. What's going on? So she said he was in the hospital. She was pulled aside by the doctors in the hospital, explained to her, you better get your affairs in order for him. We don't know if he's going to make it. Fortunately, he's fine. He came through it, but that's a moment you don't forget. Especially when you grew up with this person, you've known him and so on, and then you hear this type of situation. It affects you. It makes you rethink about life and things in general.
I was delivering parcels, and this one customer started crying, and she said, thank you, because she didn't want to go to the store or anything like that. And she had to go to New York because one of her friends was ill, so she made the journey. She was scared. And she said, I think it was at 5 o'clock, there's a certain time, it was 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, everybody in New York would go to the windows and start clapping. And it was for the health workers, okay? And she says, that really moved my heart, and really made me appreciate everybody, the health workers, you, everybody else. So, it was nice to be appreciated, and, to be put in that group of health workers, which is really, we don't belong. I mean, these people in health workers, they were on the front lines. They were actually catching it and dying. They were the real heroes. But to be put into that group was nice.
Yeah, I had a similar conversation where they said, one guy said to me, like, as long as he sees us out there, he knows that the world is still moving.
Yeah, I started this job a long time ago, in the good old days. And at that time, pretty much everything came through the mail. It was before electronic, computers and things like that. So people were waiting for mail, particularly elderly people on the 3rd of the month for Social Security checks. So I would, deliver the Social Security checks and just knock on the door, let the people know it was there and stuff like that. And people appreciated that. So now, we didn't have Social Security checks, but we were delivering medication, okay? And people were waiting for the medication. So I got the same feeling, people were waiting for this medication, and you give it to them. And they were really grateful because, it was keeping some of these people alive, So that brought me back and made me feel, this is a good job. I mean, this is where we are actually helping people.
Yeah.
We're not still in summer mode, so to speak. We're a bit back to the way we were. I noticed at this point in time, there's a lot of people forwarding their mail back, and those that were here during the pandemic, they're going back to where they came from. So I see a change a little bit back to normalcy, so to speak. So hopefully we're turning the corner. I mean, that's my hope.
I would say change.
Drastic change. A drastic change in outlook. I mean, pretty much I took health for granted before that, and I knew everyone knows we're mortal and stuff like that, but we don't expect to come to work one day, the next day we might not be here, or the people we work with might not be here. So it wakes you up and say, you got to really appreciate the gift of health and the gift of life.
I have 2 words actually, just to appreciate everything. Don't take things for granted. Life is fragile. Simple as that. Life is fragile. Just appreciate what you have. Appreciate every moment of every day. More than one word, but there we go.